When I say, oh God, I'm so fallen, I'm so sick, and actually you create your own illusion because you separate yourself from the spiritual identity. And I like this concept because everything can be spiritual and aligned with our purpose, but we separate ourselves the whole time.
Yeah.
We think ourselves because of our ego, that we are the body, the mind, the traumas, the past, the future. And we create actually the illusion. We create this Maya for ourselves.
Yeah, it's very much something that is a state of consciousness. Because you see, like, two people can walk along the same path, along the same street, and just perceive reality very differently. Because they have a different type of consciousness. One person will see the beauty in that particular situation, and one person will just see their own triggers or certain pain. And that is also, and we spoke about that before, like how I believe karma works. Because karma, yes, it's also to some extent what happens to you, but it's much more how you respond to it. And how you respond to something really depends on your state of mind. So if I'm deeply grounded, I'm very connected, I'm connected to my heart, when shit happens in life and I get shaken, then I will respond very differently to it compared to me being stuck in the past, feeling like, oh, I'm a victim, this is not working out, that is not working out, I feel so sorry for myself. So then when something bad happens, then I get even more shaken. I like, oh, see, I'm a victim, you know? It never works out for me. It works out for everyone, but for me, it never works out because of my health, because of my job situation, my finances, my relationships. Like, look, they have such a wonderful relationship, or he has an amazing job. Therefore, it works out for them, but for me, it doesn't work out because I don't have these things. So when you have this like victim mentality, and this is for me, like, whenever I work with someone, this is like the very first thing I look at. Like, where's victim consciousness? Because when you are in victim consciousness, see, no matter what pain happened to you, it doesn't mean you forget what people have done to you, but you need to forgive, because as long as you emotionally hold on to the past, even the traumas and the pain, you will have some victim identity. And when you have a victim identity, you give all your power away. For example, I also, I offer again now astrology readings, but I stopped doing it because I don't like when people come, oh, now is Saturn or Mercury retrograde, therefore, my life is a living hell, therefore I cannot do what I want to do. I don't think that's good. You need to, believe that everything is possible, have a very open mind and a very open vision, and then God automatically will open certain doors and close certain doors. And anyway, if we now go on the topic of manifesting your Dharma.
It's already in you.
Yeah, exactly.
What is your Dharma?
Yeah. Because if you manifest something that is not in alignment with your Dharma, you will be unhappy. You see sometimes people, they become famous, they become rich, but they're miserable because it's part of their Dharma, but there's still something missing, which is them being really connected with all of their heart in it. And so therefore I think it's so important to leave this victim consciousness behind, to put aside what other people think of you, and to really focus and align what is important to you. Because, when you start to live from your heart, when you start to follow your calling, some people will have a big issue with it. But some people will really start to see you. I recently made some, strong decisions in my life, and I see how some people are taken away and some other people come even more towards me because I'm more myself.
Also, you raise your frequency, you change your frequency, your vibration, and then the outside world reacts. Other people see you all of a sudden. When I became a monk, I was walking in my hometown, and I met people from before. I know them since childhood, and they didn't see me. He didn't recognize me. I had to greet them first, and oh, hey. And then I realized now, many years later, that they can't see me like we have in the Vedic text. We have the devas and all these higher beings. We can't see them because we don't vibe in their frequency. So they can see us. The same way as we can see other people sometimes from before, but they can't connect with us. We don't have the same vibrational energy anymore.
Definitely. It's a lot about the consciousness, and it's actually very little about the action that the action that you take is very important, but the result on the action that you take depends on your consciousness, depends on the intention. It is such a message of the Bhagavad Gita. Spiritual person doesn't really change what they're doing, but they change how they're doing it, what is the intention behind it, what's the consciousness behind it. And that's kind of like a little bit the magic of spiritual life, because from the outside it's very hard to tell who's spiritual, who's not spiritual, because it's really something that happens inside the heart. And this brings us to another topic, I feel, because I noticed more and more in spiritual life how it is really about that shift from the head into the heart. And it's a lot about letting go of the mind that is very much absorbed in reasoning and logic and intellectually trying to make sense of the world, more into trusting that deeper state of heart, you know, maybe that deeper bliss that you start to experience when you go deeper in spiritual life. You start to trust that stillness in your heart, you know, that is very steady, very calm, very clear. You start to trust that more than everything you make up with your mind.
When you say mind, you mean your conscious mind or subconscious mind, or is it both?
When I say mind, I mean, if you look at the yoga tradition, we have like the ego mind, we have like the mind that is connected to reasoning. So the analytical mind, you could say, the logical mind. Then you have like the emotional mind, and then you have the subconscious mind. So I would say the heart has also different stages. One stage is, for example, the emotional mind. You know, my heart hurts. So many songs are written about that. But that is, of course, not the deeper heart. That's the emotional heart.